We've been waiting for the end of Stranger Things for what feels like 84 years.
It's been 84 years.
The anticipation isn't just high, it's suffocating. We left Hawkins in absolute ruins. The Upside Down is basically leaking into the real world like a bad plumbing job. And we have zero clue how the Duffer Brothers are going to stick the landing on this massive pop culture juggernaut. Naturally, the internet has done what the internet does best. It has gone absolutely feral with speculation. We are talking hundreds of threads, Reddit deep dives, and late night Discord debates. But today, I'm cutting through the noise. I've compiled the 10 wildest, most debated, and honestly most terrifying theories about how Season 5 is going to wrap this all up. And we aren't just listing them, we are ranking them from absolutely no way to I will bet my house on this. So grab your agos, check your flashlights, and let's deep dive into this madness. Number 10, the D&D campaign reveal. Alright, kicking us off at number 10, we have the theory that makes every writer in the world cringe. We are calling this "it was all just a dream" scenario, but with a nerdy twist. The theory here, which oddly keeps popping up, is that the entire series, everything from Demogorgon to Vecna, has just been one massive elaborate Dungeons and Dragons campaign played by the boys in Mike's basement. Imagine the finale. The screen fades to black, the epic music swells, and then cut to the kids. But they aren't traumatized teenagers fighting for their lives. They are just their season 1 selves, sitting around a table, holding dice, laughing about the crazy story they just imagined. Now, look, I get why people think this. The show is built on D&D lore. But let's be honest, if they pull this, we riot. This ending would effectively negate a decade of storytelling. It wipes out every sacrifice, every death, every moment of a character growth we have emotionally invested in. Sources who analyze TV tropes place this firmly in no chance category for a reason. It would fundamentally undermine the audience's connection to the show. It's cheap, it's lazy, and frankly, the Duffer Brothers are better than that. So let's bury this one at the bottom of the list, where it belongs. Number 9. Hidden family connections to Henry Creel. Moving up to number 9, we are getting into soap opera territory. This is the hidden family connections theory. People love a good secret relative reveal, don't they? The internet is convinced they are biological ties to Henry Creel, aka Vecna, and we just haven't seen yet. There are two main flavors of this theory. First, there's the idea that Henry actually fathered both Eleven and Will, which would make them secret twins. Talk about a Skywalker situation. The second and the wilder version proposes that Karen Wheeler, Mrs. Wheeler herself, is actually Alice Creel, Henry's sister. The theory goes that she didn't die, she survived, changed her name, and built a shiny suburban life to hide from her past. It sounds juicy, right? But here is why we have it so low on the list. These theories face massive obstacles. The twin theory completely contradicts information established in the spin-off novel Suspicious Mind. And yes, the novels matter. As for Karen Wheeler revelation, it feels like it would come way too late in the game. We are in the final season. Dropping a bomb that changes the entire Wheeler family dynamic now would be messy. Both theories strain credibility given the timeline and established canon. So while it's fun to think about, don't hold your breath. Number 8. The three-headed dragon. Okay, number 8. Let's talk monsters. Specifically the three-headed dragon theory. This one stems directly from Will Byers. Remember that painting he made in season 4, the one that made us all tear up? It depicted a three-headed dragon fighting a knight. Now in Stranger Things, nothing is accidental. Fans are speculating that this dragon isn't just artistic license, it is a warning. The theory suggests a massive creature, possibly the Basil Hydra from D&D lore, is going to emerge in the Upside Down for the final. We know that Duffer Brothers love their foreshadowing. They plant seeds in season 1 that don't bloom until season 4, while introducing a giant CGI dragon would be a massive production undertaking. Look at the budget this show has. They aren't afraid of going big. Given the show's history of meticulous planning and bringing D&D monsters to life, You simply cannot dismiss the idea that the finale boss fight might involve a literal dragon. It would be cinematic gold. Number 7. Time travel as the solution. Sliding in at number 7, we have the sci-fi staple, time travel. This one goes all the way back to our favorite science teacher, Mr. Clark. Remember his early explanation of wormholes? Fans have never let that go. The core of this theory is that the fact that Upside Down is frozen in time on November 6th, 1983, the day Will went missing. The specific date feels like a lock that needs a key. The theory suggests that the temporal manipulation is possible, and that the characters might use time slipping or a wormhole to travel back and prevent the original events from ever happening. Essentially, they would stop the gate from opening, creating a timeline where none of this horror happened. It's a clean fix, right? It resolves the central conflict, but it also risks the Avengers Endgame problem.
What happened? If you mess with time, it tends to mess back. You'll see.
Time travel introduces complex questions about causality. If they fix it, do they lose their memories? Do relationships get erased? It could potentially complicate the narrative rather than resolve it, which is why it's sitting here in the middle of our list. It's possible, but it's risky writing. Number 6. Eddie's resurrection as Cass. Number 6. Oh man, this one hurts. We are talking about Eddie Munson. We all watched him die a hero's death in season 4, shredding Metallica until the very end. But the internet refuses to let him go. This persistent theory suggests Vecna will resurrect Eddie to serve as his lieutenant. This isn't just wishful thinking, it's drawn deep from D&D lore. There is a character named Cass, the Bloody-Handed, a vampire who serves as Vecna's right-hand man before, and this is the key, eventually betraying his master. There is actually some evidence here. The episode title, Escape from Kamzots, references a bat god. Eddie was killed by demobats. The thematic resonance is right there. Fans believe he could return as a dark, corrupted version of himself, only to turn on Vecna at the last second. However, the show gave him such a definite heroic ending. Would bringing him back cheapen that sacrifice? It's uncertain, but the Cass theory is too perfect to ignore completely. Number 5. Nancy Wheeler's sacrifice. Breaking into the top 5, we have a theory that is genuinely worrying for fans of Nancy Wheeler. Nancy has been a beast this entire series. She consistently places herself in danger. She is the investigator, the one with the guns, the one willing to confront the threat directly. She has been instrumental in fighting the Upside Down incursions, but the bravery comes with a cost. This pattern has led to significant speculation that Nancy will make a final sacrifice in season 5. Think about it, from a storytelling perspective, such an ending would resolve her character arc of going from a suburban girl to a warrior. And then there is the elephant in the room, the love triangle. Steve or Jonathan. It's been dragging on for years. Nancy dying would tragically but definitely end that dilemma. Her trajectory has been building toward increasingly dangerous confrontations, making a heroic sacrifice a very plausible, albeit heartbreaking outcome. Number 4. Vecna as Mind Flayer's victim. Number 4 is a theory that flips the script on everything we think we know about the villain. We have assumed Henry Creel, Vecna, is the big bad. But what if he isn't? This theory reframes the entire conflict by suggesting Henry Creel isn't the ultimate antagonist. Instead, it posed that Vecna is actually a tragic figure who was corrupted by the Mind Flayer during childhood. We saw the spiders, we saw his obsession. But what if the Mind Flayer was pulling the strings before Henry even got to the lab? If the Mind Flayer is the actual puppet master, the finale might involve the gang discovering that Henry has been a victim. This adds a layer of emotional complexity that Duffers love. It forces the character to make a hard choice. Do they try to save the shred of humanity left in Henry, or do they destroy him entirely to kill the Mind Flayer? It turns a monster movie into a tragedy, and that feels very Stranger Things. Number 3. Will Byers playing a pivotal role in defeating Vecna. We are in the top 3 now. Will Byers playing a pivotal role in defeating Vecna, potentially through a major personal sacrifice. Recent episodes have confirmed that Will has gained the ability to command Vecna's hive mind, using powers derived from his original abduction by Vecna in season 1, which has elevated his importance in the final season. This development has fueled speculation that Will may lose an eye as part of his sacrifice. This theory foreshadows in season 2 with the Phineas Gage storyline, and reinforced by visual framing in season 3 that often obscures one of his eyes. While some believe Will die in Hawkins, others suggest that he will use his powers to destroy Vecna, possibly at the cost of his own life or his connection to the Upside Down. Number 2. Max Vecna's vessel. This is probably the scariest theory on this list because how likely it feels. Let's talk about Max. She has ended season 4 in a coma after Vecna's brutal attack. Her bones were broken, she was blind, and 11 couldn't find her in the void. Her consciousness exists in an uncertain state while her body remains in Hawkins Memorial Hospital. And in season 5 volume 1, we see that she's in Vecna's mind. She's stuck there, and now with Holly. The theory: Vecna is using Max's comatose body as a vessel or a surveillance point. Think of it like a Trojan horse. Her friends are sitting by her bedside hoping for her recovery, but her awakening might actually introduce the enemy directly into their safe space. Vecna could be playing the long game here, using Max to observe their plans and sabotage them from within. It aligns perfectly with show's pattern of subverting expectations and creating emotionally devastating twists. We want Max to wake up, but we should probably be terrified of what happens if she does. Number 1. 11's final sacrifice. And finally, here we are. The number 1 theory. The one that feels almost inevitable. 11's final sacrifice. This is the most probable outcome. It centers on 11 making the ultimate play to end the Upside Down permanently. This logic is simple. She is the person who originally opened the gate. The rules of magic in this show suggest that she may be the only one capable of closing it forever. There are 2 versions of this. One is the dark version. She dies to eradicate the Upside Down completely. She burns it out, taking herself with it. The second, more nuanced variation suggests she survives, but at a cost. She might have to erase everyone's memory of herself and the Upside Down to protect them, then disappear to live independently in a remote location, maybe somewhere cold and isolated like Iceland. This ending would parallel Hopper's sacrifice throughout the series, while demonstrating 11's growth. She isn't a weapon anymore, she is an autonomous individual making her own choice about her fate. It would be emotionally devastating, absolutely, but thematically consistent with her character development. It's the hero's journey, and usually that journey has a one-way ticket at the end. Now before you rush to the comment section to type in all caps, I know what you're thinking. You're sitting there wondering, wait, you missed the biggest one. Where is the theory about Steve Harrington dying to protect Dustin? Okay, look, we need to have a serious conversation about that. I didn't forget that, I didn't overlook it. I purposely, consciously and aggressively removed that theory from ranking. Why? Because I refuse to manifest that kind of negativity into the universe. We're not doing that today. If we lose the hair, we lose the show. Simple as that. The thought of a final goodbye between Steve and Dustin is a level of heartbreak that I, and frankly this channel, are simply not emotionally equipped to handle right now. So, for the sake of our collective mental health, we are pretending that theory doesn't exist. Steve lives, Dustin lives, everyone gets a happy ending, moving on. And honestly, we could have kept going, we could have made this a 3-hour documentary. There are theories about the ticking clock, theories about library, theories about Ted Wheeler being a secret government agent. Okay, maybe not the last one. But the Stranger Things universe is so dense, and with volume 1 already shaking up the board, the landscape is shifting. Literally every single day. There is just too much to cover in one sitting without our brains melting out of our ears, like we just met Vecna. This video covers the big ones, the titans, the theories that keep us up at night. But this is a conversation that is definitely not over. We are just scratching the surface of the Upside Down here. So I want to turn this over to you guys. With everything we know now, which of these theories do you think is actually going to stick the landing? And more importantly, are you team Steve survives or are you preparing for the worst? If you enjoyed this deep dive and if you appreciate me sparing you the emotional trauma of discussing Steve's death, do me a solid favor. Smash that like button, it really helps the channel out. Make sure you are subscribed with notification turned on because we are going to be breaking down every single frame as we get closer to the finale. Thanks for watching, stay safe and remember, friends don't lie, but fan theories might just keep you sane. We'll catch you in the next one.